Okay, this is your warm-up help for week 6, so if you did not do well, please copy it down tonight. Okay, so the first problem says 63 and 29 hundredths plus 52 and 6 tenths plus 1. Remember, line up your decimal, so at 1, the decimal is behind it. So as I line it up, I'm going to add my numbers, line up my decimal. I like to add zeros as placeholders. Now I go ahead and add 9 plus 0 is 9. 2 plus 6 plus 0 is 8. Bring down your decimal. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 5 plus 0 is 11. So my answer to this problem is 116 and 89 hundredths. Number 2, you're adding and subtracting, so I have to go in order. So I'm going to do 32 minus 14 first. I have to borrow. So now I'm going to say 12 minus 4 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 1. And now I'm going to take my 18 and I'm going to add the 29 to it. So 8 plus 9 is 17. Add the 1. My answer is 47. Number 3, I'm multiplying because it says parentheses, then I'm adding. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply 6 and 3 tenths times 4. Don't worry about the decimal. I just know I'm going to move it over one spot. So I'm going to say 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Move it over one place. I get 25 and 2 tenths. Then I have to add the 2 and 1 tenth to it. 2 plus 1 is 3. Bring your decimal down. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 0 is 2. So my answer is 27 and 3 tenths. Number 4, you are dividing, and that is a decimal right there. So it's 6 and 3 tenths divided by 7. 7 is my divisor. 6 and 3 tenths my dividend. Since I don't have my divisor is a whole number, there's no decimal there, it's just at the end, I just move my decimal straight up in my dividend. Then I divide. Does 7 go into 6? The answer is no. Put a 0. Bring down the 3. Does 7 go into 63? The answer is yes, 9 times. So my answer is 9 tenths. Number 5, you're adding like fractions. Now, if you went ahead and simplified first, it would have been easier. So if I simplify 6 ninths, 3 goes into it, I will get 2/3. If I simplify 9 ninths, I get 1. So 1 plus 2/3 is 1 and 2/3. If you did not do that, you would still get the same answer, but it's a little bit more work. I would keep my denominator because they're both the same. I would add 6 plus 9, which is 15. Then I would have to divide 9 into 15. Put a 0. 9 will go into 15 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. When I subtract, I get 1 and 6 ninths. And I have to simplify the 6 ninths to 2/3. So I still get the same answer. It's just easier to simplify first. Number 6, I'm subtracting fractions. I have the same denominator, so I keep it. 3 minus 1 is 2. My answer is 2/5. Number 7, I am multiplying mixed numbers, so I have to change my mixed numbers to improper fractions. So 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8 over 6. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4. Again, I want to simplify before I multiply, so it's easier. What goes into 8 and 4 is 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 8 2. What goes into 6 and 9 is 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Into 6, 2. Now I can say 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So my answer to this one would be 3. Now, if you did not want to do it that way when you did number 7, which looking at people's papers, I noticed they did not. So the other way, you're still going to change it to improper fractions. You're still going to get 8 over 6 times 9 over 4. The only thing you're going to do is multiply, get 72 over 24, and when you divide it out, you're still going to get 3 as an answer. It's just bigger numbers. Number 8, you're dividing fractions, so you got to remember your KCF, which is you keep the first fraction. Change division to multiplication. Flip or take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Again, the problem people are having is they are not simplifying their fractions, and that's why they're missing this. I go ahead and simplify it first. I look at my cross products. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 will go into 9 3 times. This way, when I get it, I get my answer already simplified, 5/12. If you did not do that, you would have gotten 15 over 36. What would go into 15 and 36? It's still your 3. You're still going to get the same answer. So if you do it the longer way, you're going to get 15 over 36. You still got to simplify. On number 9, it was a word problem. So on number 9, you had 2 different units that you were comparing, money in ounces. So as I'm plugging my numbers in, I know that it's $4.08, 8 cents for 8 ounces. And I want to find out how much money for 1 ounce. So remember, if you're cross multiplying, you're going to get your answer, and it should be about 51 cents per ounce. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time you got $4.10 for 10 ounces. Again, you want to find out how much for 1 ounce. I'm going to cross multiply, get your answer. You're going to get 41 cents per ounce. Since 41 cents is less than 51, then the 10-ounce bag would be less expensive, be the better buy. Number 10 said, what is a product of 2/3 and 5/6 in simplest form? Again, I would like to simplify. I look at my cross products. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 6 3. As I multiply, I get 5/9. If you did not do it this way, you would have gotten 10/18. You're still going to simplify by 2. You're still going to get 5/9 either way. On the back side, it says 1/2 plus 1/6. Since I'm adding fractions, I have to find a common denominator. My denominator is going to be 6, so I keep the first fraction. I want to make the other fraction 6. So 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So 3/2 equals 3/6 equals 1/2. So when I add that, I get 4/6. Simplified, 2/3. Number 12, I did for you in class. So hopefully you got that right. You could have done this one of 2 ways. You could have simplified 3/12 or just found a common denominator, which we did in class. I chose 12. So I said 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. When you multiply, you get 4 times 3, which is 7 over 12. And that's my answer in simplest form. Number 13, again, you want to find a common denominator. The only common denominator would be 30, or that's the least common denominator. So I'm going to say 6 times 5 is 30, so 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30, so 5 times 4 is 24. Now I have common denominators. I can add them. I'm going to get 49 over 30, where 49 over 30 is improper, so I want to divide it. I'm going to get 1 and 19/30 is my answer. Number 14, 1/4 plus 1/5. Again, I want to find a common denominator. It's going to be 20 is the least common one. 4 times 5 is 20, so 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I got the same denominator. I can add my numerators, and I get 9/20. Number 15, again, I want to find a common denominator. I'm going to choose 45. It happens to be the least common denominator. I'm going to find equivalent fractions. So 9 times 5 is 45. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 9 is 45. 9 times 3 is 27. Since they have the same denominator, I'm going to add them. I get 37. Keep my denominator over 45. And number 16, again, I want to find a common denominator. My least common one is 24. I'm going to find equivalent fractions. So I'm going to say 8 times what is 24? It's 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times what is 24? 8. 8 times 1 is 8. Now I got my common denominator of 24. 9 plus 8 is 17. So my answer to this problem is 17 over 24.